I twist my ankle. I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. You know, I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win.
It might not be in the team's best interest, in your best interest, to play all 82. Is that something you thought about at all since you made the goal?
That's a goal, but we'll see.
The next day,
I'm available to go and be in the pro. If OBJ shows up, he might score 100.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Michael Jordan just dropped a bomb that destroyed LeBron James' entire legacy with one sentence. And when you hear what he said, you'll realize this wasn't just shade. This was a complete demolition of everything LeBron represents. Jordan went on NBC, looked straight into the camera, and said something so crushing that every current NBA superstar probably felt it in their soul. He's talking about fans who sacrifice everything to watch one game, about what it truly means to be great, about the difference between playing for glory and playing for a paycheck.
I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it.
This wasn't some random interview. This was Michael Jordan breaking his silence to send a message. Because while LeBron's been coasting, taking rest days, and calling basketball just a game, Jordan just reminded everyone what real greatness looks like. And what he reveals about today's NBA will change how you see every superstar forever. NBC brought back NBA coverage this season for the first time in over 20 years, and they pulled off something massive. They got Michael Jordan to come back, not as a player, but as a special contributor. Now, Jordan rarely does interviews. The guy's been a ghost for decades. He shows up for his brand, maybe talks business, but actual basketball commentary? Almost never. So when NBC announced he'd be sharing his thoughts on the game, people paid attention. Jordan talked about legacy, about giving back, about missing competition. Pretty standard stuff. But then the second segment aired, and that's when things got spicy. The topic? Load management. And Jordan didn't hold back even a little bit.
I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy.
But here's where it gets real. Jordan started talking about the fans, the people sitting way up in the nosebleed seats, the ones who worked their whole lives just to afford one ticket to see him play. He said those fans mattered to him. He didn't want to let them down. Playing wasn't just about him, it was about the person who saved up everything just to watch him perform once. Think about that for a second. Jordan's talking about duty, about responsibility, about understanding that when you're making $40, $50 million a year, you owe it to the people paying to see you play to actually show up. And he made it crystal clear. If you're physically able to play, you play. No excuses, no rest days, no load management. You suit up and you compete.
Way up on top, who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket or to get money to buy the ticket. Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me and I want to shut him up.
Now, Jordan never said LeBron's name. He didn't call out Kawhi Leonard or Joel Embiid or any of the other stars who sit out games like it's a weekend hobby. But everyone watching knew exactly what he meant. Because the entire NBA culture right now, the one where superstars sit out back-to-backs and call it being smart, that culture was built by LeBron James. To really understand why Jordan's comments hit so hard, you need to understand the difference between his era and LeBron's era. Because these aren't just two different players, they're two completely different philosophies about basketball. Jordan played in an era where toughness was everything. We're talking about the 80s and 90s when the Detroit bad boys were allowed to physically destroy you on the court. When hard fouls weren't flagrant, they were just basketball. Jordan got beat up every night, and he kept coming back. He didn't sit out because his ankle was sore. He taped it up and played anyway. Remember the flu game? 1997 NBA Finals Game 5 against Utah. Jordan woke up that morning violently sick. Food poisoning, probably. He was so weak he could barely stand. Most players would have called it a day, told the team they couldn't go. But Jordan? He suited up. Didn't even do a real warm-up. Just walked onto the court and dropped 38 points. Led the Bulls to a win that put them one game away from the championship. At the end of the game, he literally collapsed into Scottie Pippen's arms because his body had nothing left. That's the mentality Jordan's talking about. That's the standard he set. And it wasn't just him. Look at Kobe Bryant. There's a story about Kobe where someone asked him why he didn't just sit out a game when he was hurting. His response? What about the fans who saved up to watch me play just once?
Kobe didn't want to disappoint his fans, especially the ones in the 300 sections that saved up to watch him play. The kids with the same excitement he once had. I remember asking him why he couldn't just sit a game out because he was hurting. He said, "What about the fans that saved up to watch me play just once?" He never forgot about his fans.
Kobe understood that for some kid in the upper deck, that might be the only time they ever get to see him in person. He wasn't going to rob them of that experience just because he was tired. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kevin Garnett, all these guys carried the same mentality. Garnett spent years in Minnesota with terrible teams and zero help, but he played his heart out every single night because winning mattered. The competition mattered. These guys would have played for free if they had to, because they genuinely loved the game. Now let's talk about 2016. That's the year everything changed. Kobe retired, Tim Duncan retired, Kevin Garnett retired. All three of them gone in the same year. These were the last guys from the 90s era still playing. The last ones who remembered what basketball used to be about. Once they left, the old school mentality left with them. And who was waiting to fill that void? LeBron James, the self-proclaimed king. The guy who would define the entire 2010s and 2020s. And the culture he built? It's the complete opposite of everything Jordan stood for.
And I twisted my ankle, I taped it up, and I went back out and I played.
And I am at a point in my career now where I don't lose sleep over that. Like, fuck, how did me and Luka lose?
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Here's where it gets interesting. LeBron's always had this weird relationship with load management. Sometimes he acts like he's above it, like he's the Iron Man who plays through everything. Other times, he's the biggest advocate for players sitting out games. Back in 2024, when Embiid was getting criticized for missing games, LeBron jumped on social media to defend him. He went on this whole rant about how media personalities needed to apologize to Embiid, how nobody respected the fact that these guys know their own bodies. LeBron was basically saying load management is necessary and people need to back off. But then you look at LeBron's own track record and it gets confusing. For the first 15 years of his career, he was basically indestructible, played almost every game, rarely got hurt, lived up to the hype. But then something changed once he got to his second stint in Cleveland, and especially after joining the Lakers. The load management became obvious. In 7 seasons with the Lakers, he's only played more than 70 games once. One time. This season, LeBron's 40 years old. He's dealing with something called sciatica, which is nerve pain, and he sat out the entire preseason with the goal of being ready for opening night. Charles Barkley made a joke recently about LeBron's injury status.
Out there, you said that he's got an old guy injury.
He's just old. Everybody gets old. He says a sciatica. You know what that means, Dan? Yeah, I know his back hurt. All old people back hurt. Dan, all old people back hurt. You can dress it up like a sciatica. You can come up with all these medical terms. LeBron is old.
They just wrote old on the injury report with an extra D. Everyone laughed, but there's truth in that joke. And then there's the quote that sums up everything wrong with LeBron's mentality. After losing in the NBA Finals, he said,
It's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Imagine Jordan saying that. Imagine Kobe saying that. They never would. Because to them, basketball wasn't just a game. It was everything. LeBron only cares about winning when he wins. When he loses, suddenly rings don't matter. Competition doesn't matter. It's all just entertainment. You love basketball. You save up for months to buy tickets to see your favorite team. You take off work. You drive hours to the arena. You bring your kid who's never been to an NBA game before. You get to your seats, you're excited, you're ready, and then 30 minutes before tip-off, they announce that the star player is sitting out for rest. Load management. Not injured, just rest. How would you feel? Cheated, right? Like you just wasted hundreds of dollars and hours of your time for nothing. That's what's happening to NBA fans all across the country, and the players don't care. They'll post on Instagram about how they're prioritizing their bodies, how they know what's best for them. But they don't think about the single mom who saved up 3 months of grocery money to buy her son one ticket for his birthday. They don't consider the diehard fan in the upper deck who might only get to see their hero play once in their entire life. That person mattered to Kobe. Their experience mattered. Their investment mattered. Jordan felt the same way. He knew that people in the upper deck probably worked harder for their ticket than he worked for his game check. So he showed up every single night because that was his job. That was his responsibility. Here's the financial hypocrisy that nobody wants to talk about. These guys are making $40, $50, sometimes $60 million a year. Generational wealth, life-changing money. And they can't play 70 games? They can't show up for the people who are funding their lifestyle? Because make no mistake, the fans are the ones paying these salaries. Ticket sales, merchandise, TV deals, all of that money comes from people who love the game. And those people deserve better than watching their heroes take nights off whenever they feel like it. But it goes deeper than just the fan experience. Load management destroys team chemistry too. How are you supposed to build chemistry when your best player is sitting out every third game? How are role players supposed to develop timing and rhythm with their star when that star is constantly unavailable? You can't build a championship team when guys are barely playing together. Jordan understood this. He knew that part of being a great teammate is leading by example. If you're the superstar making $50 million a year and you're sitting out games for rest, what message does that send to the young guys making the minimum? It tells them that showing up doesn't matter, that effort is optional, that the game is just a job, not a passion. LeBron's era is defined by these three principles, and the result? The NBA is in the worst state it's been in decades. Ratings are down, fan engagement is dropping, people are tired of watching superstars sit out games and act like they're doing everyone a favor when they actually play, and this all goes back to the question of legacy. LeBron wants to be in the conversation with Jordan. His fans constantly argue that he's better than MJ. But here's the thing, greatness isn't just about stats. It's not just about championships. It's about the standard you set, the example you lead, the culture you create. Jordan set a standard where showing up mattered, where competing mattered, where respecting the game and the fans mattered. LeBron's standard is about preserving yourself, maximizing your brand, and treating basketball like it's just another business transaction. Those are two completely different legacies, and only one of them deserves to be called the greatest. So here's the big question. Can Michael Jordan save the NBA? Can these NBC interviews actually change anything? The honest answer, probably not for this era. The damage is done. LeBron, Kawhi, James Harden, all these guys are too far gone. They've built their careers on this culture of load management and player empowerment and prioritizing everything except actually playing basketball. They're not changing now. But here's what Jordan can do. He can save the next generation. Think about the young stars coming up right now. Victor Wembanyama, Cooper Flagg, whoever gets drafted in the next few years. These guys are watching, they're listening, and when Michael Jordan speaks, people pay attention. Jordan's not doing these interviews for the current players. He's doing them for the future. He's planting seeds. He's reminding everyone what basketball used to be about, what it should be about. And maybe, just maybe, one of these young guys will hear Jordan's message and decide to carry that torch forward. So here's what we know. Michael Jordan went on national television and reminded everyone what greatness actually looks like. He didn't need to say LeBron's name because everyone already knew who he was talking about. The culture LeBron built, where sitting out is normal and winning is optional and fans don't matter, Jordan just exposed all of it. This is bigger than one interview. This is a battle for the soul of basketball. On one side, you have Jordan's standard. Show up, compete, respect the game and the people who love it. On the other side, you have LeBron's era. Rest when you feel like it, downplay competition when you lose, and treat basketball like it's just another business transaction. The current generation is probably too far gone, but the next one? That's still up for grabs. And Jordan's voice in this conversation might be exactly what the league needs, not to save the 2020s, but to save the 2030s, to remind the next wave of superstars that being great isn't just about talent. It's about showing up. It's about competing. It's about understanding that when you're blessed enough to play this game for a living, you owe it to everyone who came before you and everyone watching you now to give them your best every single night. That's Michael Jordan's message. That's the standard he's defending, and that's the standard LeBron James will never live up to.